Welcome in, y'all. Going at you a little bit late tonight, right on Rangers Live, late night edition. It was a great night to be a Rangers fan. Rangers win 7-1, and just a fun game overall. Rangers scored in nearly every inning. First three innings, zeros, but then from the fourth inning on, every single inning a run was scored. That's my kind of baseball game right there. So we'll bring you our usual, all the highlights, all the key moments, our takeaways, our big things to look forward to heading into the rest of this series against the Nationals. But for now, y'all know how we always begin here at Right On Rangers. We cover just about everything sports, but we love to cover especially all the teams we love from the great state of Texas, including the Rangers, especially during baseball season. So here we are. Appreciate y'all joining, watching, liking, sharing, all that good stuff. Rangers again win 7-1 tonight over the Nationals. Jon Gray gets his first win of the season. First win of the season for Jon Gray with how well he's pitched. I really can't even believe that I'm saying those words, but here we are. Jon Gray win number one, lowers the ERA down to 2.48. Got to be the story of the day today, Jon Gray. I know that there were some obviously good offensive performances as well, but Jon Gray going 8 innings strong, 3 hits, no walks, 3 strikeouts. Again, lowers that ERA to 2.48. Jon Gray got to be the player of the game. I don't think any Rangers starter. I think Bradford did 7 2/3, if I'm not mistaken. I think this is the longest starting pitching performance of this Rangers season. I think Bradford almost went 8, went 7 2/3 a few weeks ago. But Jon Gray, obviously, huge start for him tonight. And I think he definitely, I mean, I can only assume with the Rangers and what they have going on with their pitching right now, Max Scherzer's coming back. You know that you're going to have guys like Molly and DeGrom going back into the rotation at some point this year. This is a little bit of an audition for some guys. That's not to say Jon Gray would be displeased or have a bad attitude about going to the bullpen. Clearly, he did in October, and it helped win us a World Series. But my point is, Jon Gray is motivated right now to pitch well, and he has been pitching well. 2.48 ERA on the year. And Jon Gray had just about every pitch working tonight. Didn't have his usual number of strikeouts, but nevertheless, going 8 innings, only allowing 3 base runners all night long. That's a dominant performance. And one thing we talked about yesterday, so Dane Dunning, no walks from him yesterday. And what do you know? The Rangers win a ball game. Now you've got Jon Gray, no walks from him. What do you know? The Rangers are winners once again. A big thing that plagued the Rangers, especially at the beginning of the year and even within these past 2, 3 weeks, has been so many walks from the starting pitchers. Evo is kind of the master of getting out of jams, I must say. But even Evo, I think he's had 2 5-walk games where he's walked 5 batters in multiple games. Dunning's had some games like that. And really, all the Rangers pitchers collectively, I think, have struggled with giving away free bases. And it has cost the Rangers. First of all, it puts more stress on the arms. You have to throw more pitches. You have to use your bullpen more. And our bullpen's been outstanding, but nevertheless, you don't want to have to use the bullpen if the starters are going to give you length. So when you've got all these walks piling up as a starting pitcher, all you're doing is putting more responsibility on the bullpen. And you're also putting more stress on yourself and giving your team less and less of a chance to be competitive because you're giving up base runners nonstop, which ultimately and usually leads to runs being scored. Now, Jon Gray going 0 walks tonight, truly exceptional performance from him. Cole Winn comes in 1 inning, continues his scoreless streak, has not been scored upon as a major league pitcher. That's a great accomplishment for him. You know how many guys come into this league and immediately get lit up, just absolutely lit up in their first appearance, second appearance. So for Cole Winn to come in, and he's probably at about 5, 6 innings pitched ish at this point. to have given up no runs, it's impressive to me. You see guys come in, major league debut, and get torched all the time. So for him to come in and continue to throw up zeros constantly when he's coming into ball games, no matter the situation, he's been involved obviously in some games like this where it's not a close save situation or anything like that, 6-run ball game when he came in the ninth. But that being said, I do think he came into a 4-run game in the 8th or ninth inning late, pitched well. So look, props to Cole Winn, starting his career with a 0 ERA after about 4 or 5 appearances. Impressive to me. So Jon Gray, player of the game for me. As you look at the offense, Simi, he had a great day at the plate, 5 total bases, a double, a triple. We said in the video that we put out this afternoon, Simi would have a great day at the plate, would get things started for the Rangers. I think we also said Dolly would have a hot start too. He went 1 for 3 today with the strikeout. Nate Lowe 2 for 4, and Nate Lowe had a run scored, an RBI, a walk. So Nate Lowe on base 3 times today, hitting in that 3 spot, having Nate Lowe producing like that, hitting 333 on the year. I am really, really impressed with Nate Lowe. Nate Lowe struggled, I feel, at the end of last season in the postseason. There were some Rangers fans that were pretty fed up with him. And I think even me and my friend group, we had our moments with Nate Lowe too. I mean, that dude was pretty cold in some stretches when we really needed him to be hot. And to see him come out 333, hitting in the 3 spot, producing this year, huge. Absolutely huge. And the Rangers, I told y'all this, I harped on it probably 3 or 4 lives in a row last week. We're getting absolutely nothing from the 3 spot. Absolutely nothing. It was, I think, Carter and Langford batting a collective $175 from the 3 spot. It was like 13 or 14 hits and like 70 at bats. And it was like less than 5 RBIs. It was crazy. The Rangers were getting absolutely nothing from the 3 spot for most of this season. Nate Lowe makes his return, and you have him instantly outmatching what Wyatt Langford and Evan Carter did from that position. And I'm not knocking on Evan Carter or Wyatt Langford. They're rookies. They're learning. They're getting better and better, I think, with every game, every at bat. But I don't think that the spot for either one of those guys was the 3 spot. I think Evan Carter probably at this point is going to be working his way back toward that position eventually in his career. I could easily see Evan Carter hitting 3 spot at some point. Is he your prototypical 3-hole hitter? I don't think so. I don't think Nate Lowe is either, though, to be fair. All right. You normally don't have a guy like Nate Lowe in your 3 spot. You want a guy with a little bit more pop, a guy that has a little bit more power than a Nate Lowe type. That being said, considering the options, I do think Nate Lowe is the best 3-hole hitter for us at this given time. Evan Carter obviously didn't get the start today, but he did come on, get a couple at bats, had a base knock, had an RBI. So good to see Evan Carter and his ability to not get the start, but come in and still produce. Rangers, of course, faced a lefty in Mackenzie Gore today, and Gore did have some good stuff today. He had struck out 7 guys. I'm watching the highlights of some of his strikeouts right now. He had some good stuff working today. 5 innings pitched, 2 runs allowed. It was really the Nats bullpen that was the downfall for them today. Gore kept them in the game. Gore pitched very, very well. Of course, Gore was one of the top prospects that the Padres sent to the Nationals in the Juan Soto trade. Juan Soto, of course, dealt by the Padres to the Yankees in this offseason. But, Mackenzie Gore, I think, is going to be probably one of the best starters in the league at some point. I think he's getting better and better. So look, for the Rangers to hang tough, get 5 hits off him. He had a walk, so gave up 6 base runners total in 5 innings. Mackenzie Gore, I think, probably the best pitcher the Rangers are going to face in this series. So look, we survived Mackenzie Gore. I think that at this point, we probably are going to face easier starting pitching from here on out. I'll have to look at the matchups, not trying to disrespect any of the Nats starters, but I will say I do think that Gore is probably one of their best, if not their best. So we'll check it out. We'll see what the matchup is for tomorrow. And for Thursday, tomorrow, another night game, Thursday, a day game. So we'll see what all the matchups for Wednesday and Thursday have in store. But continuing on with our box score review, of course, Jonah Heim, big moment for him, tying the game 1-1. You know, when the Nats started out 1-0, I don't know if any of y'all had this feeling, but it was kind of like, oh no, come on, Jon Gray. Come on. Not against the Nats, buddy. Not against the Nats. We cannot be getting scored upon first inning like we did. And I just kind of had a feeling, just for a second, is this going to be one of those off days for Jon Gray where he gives up 3-4 right away pretty early and we're having to crawl out of a deficit? Glad to be wrong. Glad to be wrong. You know, obviously, I'm not going to hop on social media and vent it and air it all out from moment to moment. I got to be real with y'all. During the games, I'm a little up and down. It's a roller coaster watching these Rangers sometimes, but I try and save it all for the end, take it all in, and then come to my conclusions post game. But I'll tell you what, that first inning when the Nats scored right away, I had my doubts. I was wondering if it was going to be one of those days for Jon Gray, if you know what I mean. Glad to be wrong. Jon Gray settled down beautifully and pitched the best game of the season for the Rangers. I think Cody Bradford held that title, his 7 2/3 one-run performance. I think Jon Gray's tops that today. I just think overall how he looked, no walks given up. I think Jon Gray, best start by a Rangers starting pitcher, best start of the season by far. Evan Carter, we talked about him, came on strong, had a little nice RBI. I'm just going down the box score here, kind of jumping all over the place, so forgive me. Leote had a nice bomb today, dead center field, kind of a wall scraper. Good to see Leote getting back into it. And then other than that, Josh Smith is probably the last guy we'll talk about. Josh Smith, man, that dude has been a godsend for the Rangers this year. Josh Smith, of course, filling in primarily for Josh Young, who I think is going to be out for probably another month and a half, right? That's kind of what I've been hearing. That's a real broad timetable, but all-star break-ish, maybe a little before, maybe after. But what Josh Smith has done for this Rangers team, nothing short of incredible. I'll admit it fully, didn't think Josh Smith was going to be having this type of season. I know he swung the bat pretty well in spring training, and a lot of the commentators and Rangers media people have commented that he had a great spring and displayed really great vision and has continued to do so. And I've seen that too. But if you told me that Josh Smith was going to be hitting 317 this many games in, what, probably 25 games deep for him. I know we're just getting done with game 30, but Josh Smith probably played about 25 games out of those 30. So to have him hitting 317 through 25 games, that is an absolute overachieve, and I am here for it. I love to see it. Had another nice home run today. Just got it over that wall. I don't know if y'all saw the replay. I felt bad for that dude sitting right there front row. Looked like he had a pretty good chance to catch that home run ball. It totally whiffed. I think that's one of my worst nightmares. A home run ball is coming right at me, and I just absolutely whiff on it. I've never been in that position. Never caught a home run ball at a game. Never even caught a foul ball at a game. I think one time when I was at a game with my dad, this is years ago, my dad got maybe a BP home run. I think it was actually a Mitch Moreland BP home run. We were in Kansas City. They were playing the Royals. I want to say that's right. I'll have to check with him after the live, but that's about the closest I've ever come to getting any kind of ball from the live action, from the field. So felt kind of bad for that dude on that Josh Smith bomb who just absolutely whiffed. So, hey, you know what? Sometimes you're only going to get one chance. My worst nightmare. Don't want to blow it when my chance comes one day. Anyways, so at this point, let's talk about a couple other things before we look at the matchup for tomorrow. So we talked about Josh Smith. We sung his praises. Wyatt Langford goes 0 for 4 with 2 Ks, down to 238. Really would like to see Josh Smith hitting ahead of him at this point. Really would like to see that. I think Josh Smith needs to be in that 5 or 6 spot. Wouldn't be mad to see him fifth. I know Doley was fourth, Heim was fifth, and Heim is a good hitter, very good hitter. Wouldn't mind seeing Josh Smith in the 5 spot. I said probably 2 weeks ago before Nate Lowe came back, wouldn't mind seeing Josh Smith in the 3 spot. So look, I think Smith needs to be hitting above Langford at this point. I think Smith could hit above Heim at this point. Hit him fifth right after Doley. Go Doley, Smith, Heim, Langford. That's what I would do for my 4, 5, 6, 7. And then from there, depending on lefty righty, obviously you have Leote rounding things out at the 9 spot, and then you can kind of mix and match. I think that the rookies, though, are in a good place now hitting fifth and below. I think it was a little too much pressure. Langford, Carter hitting up in that 3 spot, regardless of how Carter did last year. We all know Carter obviously did super, super well from the 3 hole in the playoffs. But you come back, it's a new season, there's new pressures, right? There's new expectations put on you. Maybe, I don't think I've heard Carter say this personally. Maybe somebody can help me out in the comments, but I don't know if he's admitted to pressing or anything like that, but I just think that that's the most logical conclusion. He's hitting in the 3 spot. You're hitting right behind Seager. You got Doley right behind you, and you're expected to be able to move runners over, hit runners in. And Carter started out in a huge slump to begin the year. So, look, I think hitting fifth, hitting 7th or 8th when there's a lefty is perfect for Evan Carter. Beyond that, Wenzel goes 0 for 2. And we talked about Leote's home run. Good to see him get a couple RBIs today. Leote just drives you nuts because he just has so much potential, but he can just make the most boneheaded plays you have ever seen. We talked about him getting picked off the other day. That's the kind of stuff we're talking about. Leote probably leads the league in getting picked off first base, getting picked off the bases in general. I don't really know who probably has more caught stealings than him at this point. I'm sure maybe there's somebody else, but Leote can drive you absolutely insane. But then you get to see what he does when he's got that sweet swing going, driving the ball. Leote does have some pop. He can swing that bat, man. He can hit the baseball well. But you just don't know what you're getting from him night to night. I would love to see more consistency out of Leote Taveras. Beyond Leote, I think that just about rounds things out. Siegs goes 1 for 5 today with an RBI, 236 average. Doesn't look good. I'm feeling for my boy Siegs, man. He is on the struggle bus this season. I got to be honest, I'm starting to get a little bit worried. Starting to get just a little bit worried about Seager at this point. I kept the faith pretty much all April, but as May approaches and really not seeing a ton of signs of life. I know he had the home run yesterday or a couple of days ago, but to see Siegs hitting 236 and just not having caught fire quite yet, I hope it's coming. I'm going to continue to be hopeful and keep the faith that he is about to go on an absolute tear, but it's hard to see him struggling right now. The good news, the Rangers are overcoming it. And the even better news, we have some games here against some, I think, favorable, we'll call it favorable competition. So we've got these games against the Nats coming up. Don't take the Nats for granted. That's not what we're saying. The Nats came into this series having done pretty well. So by no means am I trashing on the Nationals. I think they're going to be one of those scrappy, pesky teams to beat all season long. They've got some good young talent. That being said, should the Rangers win at minimum 2 of these 3 games? Absolutely. The Rangers play the Royals this weekend, but then the Rangers face the Rockies. They should be sweeping the Rockies. No reason to be dropping any games to the Rockies. I genuinely hope that we go all out to win those games because the Rangers are having a little bit of a change in the schedule. After that Rocky season, they do go and play some pretty good competition. So I'd really like to see them take advantage of this series with the Nats, of the series next week with the Rockies. Royals are going to be a tough series in Kansas City. Hopefully we can get 2 out of 3 there. That's my hope. I really, really feel like the Rangers have got to take advantage these next 2 weeks of some of the competition that they're playing. Easier said than done. I don't know how many times we go to Oakland and Oakland's having a terrible year, but that's just our house of horrors. And the Rangers can be on a 5 game heater, but we go to Oakland and we drop 2 out of 3. It's just easier said than done taking advantage of the subpar competition, but you got to do it because you look back in August and it's like, why did we drop 2 out of 3 to the Rockies? Why did we drop 2 out of 3 to the A's? Right? Those things are so frustrating at the end of the season when the division comes down to 1 or 2 games. So I hope that the Rangers can take advantage. We'll see what they can do in the next 2 games. Speaking of, let's go ahead and let's do a little preview of what is to come for the Rangers on both Wednesday and on Thursday. We talked about Wednesday tomorrow, night game, Thursday, kind of a getaway day, early game for the Rangers. Tomorrow, Heaney throws, and they have Williams going for the Nationals. Williams is 2-0 with a 2.70 ERA. So pitching well thus far. Heaney 0-3, 6.26 ERA. Heaney has not been great this year for the Rangers. That being said, in Heaney's last start against the Mariners, you take away the 2 pitches where he gave up the 2 home runs, and he actually had a pretty good start. So I know that he doesn't look great on paper. I don't think Andrew Heaney pitched terribly last time out. 6 innings strong against the Mariners, a good team, a high quality team, Seattle. 7 strikeouts, only 5 hits given up, no walks. I actually think Andrew Heaney pitched pretty well last time out. He did give up the 2 home runs, but you take those 2 mistakes away, and it is a fine performance. So I think, and we're going to be hopeful that Andrew Heaney has his A game tomorrow against the Nats. Doesn't look like a ton of Nats hitters have seen Andrew Heaney. We've got a lot of guys with 2 ABs, 1 guy with 4 ABs. Looks like there's 1 guy that's hit a bomb off of him, and that is the right fielder Call or Cal. Not sure how you say it. Not up to date on all the Nationals players and their pronunciations, but we'll go with Call. 1 bomb against Heaney. Looks like Meneses, the first baseman, with a bomb as well. Everybody else, kind of a mixed bag, not really worth us digging too deep into. The Nats haven't seen too much of Andrew Heaney. Hopefully, that'll work in Andrew Heaney's favor. On the flip side, kind of the same thing for the starter for the Nats, Williams. Looks like Siegs is the guy who has faced him the most. Seager is 5 for 15 with 2 RBI, no home runs against Williams, the Nats starter for tomorrow. And then we've got Duran 1 for 3, Doley 1 for 4. Looks like Jonah Heim is 3 for 4 with a bomb. There we go. Hopefully Jonah Heim has a big day tomorrow. That's probably going to be my off-the-cuff prediction. Big day for Jonah Heim tomorrow at the plate. And then we've got, looks like Nate Lowe 1 for 5. And Simeon, I think 1 for 7. So not a lot of at-bats. Siegs again, probably. And Jankowski, I think, is 1 for 9. Don't think we're going to see Travis tomorrow. So that's what we've got for tomorrow's pitching matchup. Rangers will probably be favored if I had to guess. We'll see. We'll check out what the odds are as it gets a little bit later into the night. But I think the Rangers are going to be favorites in all these games. They are the superior team to the Nationals. Beautiful thing about baseball, anybody can win on any given day, but the Rangers should be the favorites today, tomorrow, and also on Thursday. And hopefully we can get that series sweep before we go to Kansas City for a tough series against the Royals. And beyond that, on Thursday, the day game, which we'll preview a little bit more in depth when it gets here. But Thursday, we have got a 1:35 Texas time start, be 11:35 out here in Vegas for me. Evo's going. So that's a good closeout. Part of me kind of wishes we had Evo for that Kansas City series, but you know what? We won't be too greedy. It is what it is. So hopefully Rangers can go 1, 2, 3, 3 in a row against the Nats, come away on a nice win streak before we go to Kansas City. That's the plan, as we say. Beyond that, we're looking forward to the Mavs game tomorrow. Mavs, of course, game 5 back in LA against the Clippers. Luka a little banged up. Kawhi out. We'll see if the we'll see if the Mavs can take game 5 and head back to the American Airlines Center up 3-2 for a potential closeout. So tomorrow night, we'll probably hop on and do a little bit of score watching, of game watching with y'all as we get on the live. We'll probably get on a little more immediately after the Rangers game, perhaps even 8th or 9th inning. That's always fun getting to watch the final outs of the game with you. Hopefully it'll be with the Rangers leading and the Mavs leading as well. So that's the plan for tomorrow night. But beyond that, I'll check the comments out. I know I haven't been doing too much of that. Hey, what's up, bro? I'm just checking out these comments now from YouTube. Yeah, we'll see what the Rangers do at the deadline. Look, it's not going to surprise me if the Rangers don't make a lot of moves with the offense. I could see them potentially adding somebody to the bullpen, but I don't really know if the Rangers are going to be adding a lot of bats, especially considering you're going to be getting Josh Young back. And really, in terms of holes in this lineup, when you have Josh Young back, I don't know. I mean, at that point, if Josh Young comes back, I'm sure he's going to reclaim third base. You've got a guy like Josh Smith that can now potentially DH here and there, give guys some days off. I mean, I think the Rangers, if anything, are a little bit crowded in the lineup right now, are they not? Now, look, a guy like Goldschmidt, obviously, he's a little bit on the back end of his career, but still a great hitter. I wouldn't mind somebody like that. But with that being said, you've got Nate Lowe already. You've got some guys that can DH. I just don't know if the Rangers are going to be in the market for a bat unless they get like 1 or 2 more injuries, which would be absolutely terrible. I do think if the Rangers were to sustain some other major injury to one of their best players, different story. I think the Rangers do have enough pieces where if a guy like, God forbid, Doley or Siegs went down, you kind of look around and say to yourself, let's go get somebody because we still have a really, really good squad. The pitching staff alone, you've got DeGrom, Evo, Scherzer, you've got Dunning, you've got Gray all throwing well. The pitching staff alone gives you hope for October. So if they were to have some kind of major injury, I could see maybe trading for a bat, but I really think they're probably going to look to shore up the bullpen at the deadline, if I had to guess. If I'm bringing out the crystal ball, gazing into it, I think trade deadline is going to be, can we add a top bullpen piece or just a solid bullpen piece that can provide some depth? That's what I'm thinking. So we'll see what happens. That's not going to heat up probably until June, July, stuff like that. But we'll see if the Rangers are in the market for a bat or in the market for an arm. I would guess bullpen arm right now if you put me on the spot. Beyond that, though, guys, we don't have a whole lot else for you. It's always better doing these after a Rangers win. The only other thing we need to do is check out the scores from around the division, which we're going to be doing right now. I checked on a couple earlier tonight, so let's see how they ended out. Right now, Angels losing 7-5 in the bottom of the 9th inning against the Phillies. That game being played out in Los Angeles. Of course, I'm sure a lot of y'all heard the news. Mike Trout out for an indefinite period of time, torn meniscus. I feel bad. I feel bad for Mike Trout. I don't feel bad for the Angels, but I feel bad for Mike Trout. Mike Trout just cannot stay healthy. And he is a guy that has been plagued with injuries really throughout his entire career. Now, I'm not going to feel too sad. I'd like seeing the Angels towards the bottom. I'm not going to lie to you. But I don't want to see it happen like that with Mike Trout going down. Look, the Angels weren't going to be a competitive team this year anyways. They're sitting at 11-18 at the moment with Trout in the lineup. So Mike Trout out for an indefinite period of time. Maybe not for the season is what I heard, but the Angels weren't going anywhere anyways. Just personally getting to enjoy greatness, and Mike Trout is one of the best ball players to have ever played this game. I don't even think that that's debatable. Maybe somebody wants to debate it, but why? Mike Trout is clearly one of the best to have ever played this game. It's fun watching him play when he's not playing the Rangers. I love watching him beat up on the Astros and all the other teams in division. But we'll definitely have to monitor that one. But sad to see Mike Trout go down. I love watching greatness. Don't want to see that guy be out of baseball. It's better for the game when that guy's playing. So hopefully Mike Trout can get back to full health at some point this season. Looks like that game just went final, by the way. So the Angels now drop to 11-19 on the season. Let's check out a couple other scores. Did I see, by the way, the Diamondback scores catching my eye here, 0-0 with the Dodgers in the fourth in the NL West, but Monty was scratched from his start tonight. Something to keep your eye on. Who knows? Maybe that lack of spring training, that late start for him is playing into it, but Monty scratched from his start tonight. Little curious to see what's going on there. I didn't dig any deeper into it beyond the notification I got on my phone. Maybe one of y'all's got an update. You can drop it in the comments whenever you watch this. But hopefully nothing too serious for him. We wish nothing but the best for Monty, unless he's playing the Rangers. All right, let's check out a couple other ones. Looks like we have got the Astros beating the Guardians 10-9 in extra innings. Darn it. That would have been nice for the Rangers to gain a game on the Stros, but the Stros bring their record up to 10-19 on the year. And the Guardians 19-10 on the year. Was thinking maybe the Guardians would beat up a little bit on the Astros, but it was not meant to be tonight. Astros get a win. And then other than that, A's beat the Pirates 5-2. And the Mariners beat the Braves 3-2. Another series I looked at was like, okay, maybe this is going to be a good opportunity. We're playing the Nats and the Mariners are playing the Braves. Let's gain some ground. But the Mariners keep up their hot streak that they are on right now. So look, Angels are the only team in the division that loses tonight. Hopefully that can be a little bit different tomorrow and Thursday. But as we look at the AL West, it goes as follows. Rangers are a game back of the Mariners, who are in first place. Oakland A's 2.5 games back. 2.5 games back of the Rangers, 3.5 of the division lead. Did not have that one on my bingo card. A's third place, only 3.5 out of first place, 30 games in. And then you've got the Angels 6 games out, Astros 6.5 games out. So the Rangers have a 5 and 5.5 game lead, respectively, on second place from the Angels and from the Astros. So look, good day. The Rangers win, and they needed it because there are a lot of teams in the AL West winning ball games right now. Take advantage of the Nats. Go win some games up in KC. Take advantage of the series that the Rangers have coming up with the Rockies. I think we play the A's coming up here too. So Rangers have some fortuitous matchups coming up. Got to take advantage. And go Braves and go Guardians. Let's make sure that we get some wins over the Stros and the Mariners this week, please. Well, all right, y'all. It's been fun. Hopefully, we'll be back at you tomorrow night with a Mavs win and a Rangers win. We'll see how it goes. And we'll probably try and hop on a little bit before those games go final, go through all the emotions with you during the game. It'll be good. Come on back. And in the meantime, appreciate you liking, sharing, following the channel. And hey, share it with the Rangers fan. You know somebody who loves the Texas Rangers. Share this video, share my page, share my account with them. I would be very, very grateful. Appreciate y'all. And as we always say, God bless and go Rangers. Hope y'all have a great rest of your Tuesday.